Yes. So, Sikal students, let's have second lecture on quadrilaterals, class 9, properties of parallelogram. Let's see, we have a parallelogram by the name of A, B, C, D. So, what's a parallelogram? We know that a parallelogram is a quadrilateral in which opposite sides are parallel and opposite sides are equal. So now we want to prove that diagonal of a parallelogram divides it into two congruent triangles. Well, this diagonal, students, it could be this diagonal or the other one. It doesn't matter. Maybe this diagonal DB, or we can take diagonal AC. So it doesn't matter. Both the diagonals have same property. They both divide this parallelogram into two congruent triangles and as well as equal halves also. Congruent triangles obviously will have same area, so we can say it divides the parallelogram into two congruent triangles, or you say two equal halves. Same thing. Fine. So how can we prove it, students? So if you want to prove it, just concentrate on triangle A, D, B. All right. And then take the other triangle C. Yes, yes, students, can you tell me which triangle we should take now?
CBD.
A, D, B. Now you see, AD is a little longer side. So I will not take CDB. I will take what? AD is the longer side. So I will not take CDB. Rather, I will take what? CBD. I'll take CBD. Because AD is longer, CB is also longer. DB is the diagonal, and in this case, DB is the diagonal. So this is the right way to write two triangles, which we are going to prove they are congruent or they are similar. The vertices must be written in the correct order, in the order. The vertices must be written in the correct order. Okay. So we want to prove that they are congruent. So students, look at triangle ADB, ADB and CBD. You see that DB is equal to DB, that's common. Is it right? Am I right, students? Now, we know that in a parallelogram, the opposite sides are parallel. That means AB is equal to DC. At the same time, AB is parallel to DC. Student, if AB is parallel to DC, I can say that DB is a transversal. Am I right? Transversal, right? Which is cutting the two line segments AB and DC at B and C, D. So since AB is parallel to DC, so DB transversal is cutting them. I can definitely say this angle is equal to this angle. That is angle ABD is equal to angle what? Students tell me. BDC. Why? These are alternate angles. Am I right, students? You can also say that
Yes, sir.
ADB, angle ADB is equal to angle DBC. These are also alternate angles. Am I right? These are also alternate angles. So I can say angle ADB is equal to angle DBC. Why? These are also alternate angles. Am I right? Very simple. If these are two lines, students, and this line is cutting them, so this angle and this angle are alternate angles. At the same time, student, this angle, the bigger one, and this bigger angle, these are two pairs of interior alternate angles, right? So these are equal. Now, what is the criteria which is coming to my mind to make sure that these triangles are congruent? You see that this angle, then the common side, and this angle ASA. Here also this angle, common side, and this angle, right? So I can say as per ASA criteria. Yes, students, am I right? As per ASA criteria, I can say what? What can I say? I can say that the triangle,
Triangle ABD.
triangle ABD is congruent to triangle, which one? CBD. Okay, students, I'm telling you once again. Triangle ABD. I'm sorry, I'm writing it wrong here. ABD, AB. If I'm writing ABD, then I should not write like this. I'm sorry. AB is smaller, then I write CDB, right? Because angle A is equal to angle C. Angle B is equal to angle D, alternate angles, and angle D is equal to angle B. Now I'm talking about this one, right? So these two are congruent. When these two are congruent, I've already proven that if there's a diagonal in a parallelogram divides it into two congruent triangles. So students, you can as well take this diagonal also, it doesn't matter. And you can prove that this angle is equal to this angle is equal to this angle, AC is common. You can prove that way also. Okay. So first property is, yes, students. The second property of parallelogram is, in a parallelogram, opposite sides are equal. How can we prove it? Actually, we have already proven it. How? You see that, students, when we have taken a what? We have taken
Transpose.
a parallelogram, and you see in that parallelogram we have taken a diagonal, right? Let's say this is a diagonal. I'm doing it other way now. This is the diagonal we have taken, and the diagonal is dividing the parallelogram into two equal triangles. So I can say, let's say this is A, B, C. A, B, C, D is a parallelogram. The diagonal AC is dividing the parallelogram into two equal halves. That is triangle A, B, C. Now, students, can anyone tell me the name of other triangle which is congruent to this? A, B, C. So A is equal to which angle?
C.
Correct.
Triangle
AC.
C.
Correct. So it will be C. B is equal to D, and C is equal to
D. A.
A. Beautiful. That's great. Very nice. This is very important. Order of vertices. Order of vertices, right? Should be same. You cannot say triangle ABC, triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DAC or DCA. It will be wrong. So since students, you have already proven that the diagonal AC is dividing the parallelogram into two equal triangles, two congruent triangles, and you see in these two triangles the by CPCT corresponding pairs of congruent triangles, or you can say corresponding parts of congruent triangles. These are two triangles, obviously BC and AD are the corresponding parts. AC and AC are corresponding parts. AB and CD are corresponding parts. From this I can say AD is equal to BC and AB is equal to CD by
DC.
CBCD. So I have proven the second property of the triangles also by proving that diagonal divides the parallelogram into two congruent triangles. All right. So let's discuss the third property. Yes, students, we are discussing the third property of parallelogram. It says this is in fact theorem, some theorem in the textbook, of India textbooks. Forget about this theorem, 8.3. It starts from here. If each pair of opposite sides of a quadrilateral is equal, so it says arbitrarily you draw a uh, what you draw a quadrilateral, let's say any quadrilateral. So let's say this is a quadrilateral. So in this quadrilateral, the opposite sides are not equal, right? But if case, it says in case the opposite sides are equal, this is opposite sides, these are equal, these opposite sides are equal, then it says it's a parallelogram. But my question is, why doesn't this property say that each pair of opposite sides of quadrilateral is equal, then it's a rectangle? Can any student tell me?
Because, sir, their
Yes.
length breadth is not equal. Length breadth is not equal.
No, the length breadth is not
But
equal,
in
but opposite sides are equal. See, AB is equal to CD Falgun and AC is equal to BD, right? Just by saying that opposite sides are equal, can we say that it's a rectangle? No. Any student? We can't say it's a rectangle. Why? Because in a rectangle, in addition to each pair of sides being equal, this is also important that each interior angle of the rectangle should be 90-degree.
90 degrees.
That is not specified here. It only says if each pair of opposite sides of a quadrilateral is equal, only opposite sides are equal. Only that it's saying. It's not talking about interior angle. That's why we can't say it's square or rectangle, but we can definitely say it's a parallelogram. All right. How do we prove it? So see that, students. How can we prove this? Let's say ABCD is a quadrilateral. We don't assume this is a parallelogram. We have to prove that it's a parallelogram. Okay, it's a quadrilateral. What is given? Tell me, students. What is given? Each pair of opposite sides of quadrilateral is equal. That means, what are the pair of opposite sides? Falgun Kaur, AB is equal to CD.
AB is equals to CD, BC is equals to AD.
Correct. BC is equal to AD. Right? I can write it in double dot, double lines here, double lines here to show that these are equal. BC is equal to AD. Right? So very simple, students. How you can prove it's a parallelogram? Very simple. It becomes difficult if you want to prove that this is a rectangle. Then you have to prove every angle is 90-degree. You need not prove, students, now that every angle is 90-degree. So what you do? You simply draw a what? You simply draw a, tell me,
Diagonal.
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 This is a construction. Just draw a diagonal. Draw a diagonal. D B. Okay, diagonal DB, or you can say, you can even write, just connect, just join D and B. You can also write like this: join points D and B. Okay, so you are getting two triangles. What are the two triangles you're getting? Triangle A
Triangle ABD
ABD.
and other triangle
and
is,
triangle BCD.
CBD.
yes, this girl is right. Very right, because she is indirectly thinking that these triangles I will prove as congruent. So order of vertices is very important. Now A angle should be replaced with C, D should be replaced with B and C, B,
B.
D. This is the right way. If I consider these two triangles, students, very simple. Just see it's given AB is equal to what? CD. BC is equal to AD and
AD.
DB is equal to DB. So what is that? This is given G. This is given. This is common. So by which criteria can I prove that these triangles are congruent? By which criteria?
Side.
Right.
Sine.
Right criteria. I can prove these triangles are congruent. You know, students, why this symbol is like this? Equal means their area is equal, they're similar also. Congruent triangles are also similar, but apart from being similar, in addition to being similar, they are equal in area also. That makes them congruent. By SS criteria, I can say triangle ADB is congruent to triangle, tell me students, CBD. Am I right? So when these triangles are congruent, now what? When these triangles are congruent, students, now we have proven that these two triangles are congruent. Now we can prove that this is a parallelogram by two ways. Number one, already we know the property of a parallelogram, that the diagonal of a parallelogram divides it into two congruent triangles. Already we have seen if DB is a diagonal of this quadrilateral, it has already divided the quadrilateral into two congruent triangles. Then it is a parallelogram. You can write like this also. Otherwise, you can say, students, that this angle is equal to this angle. Why? Because they are congruent, CPCT. And other students, you can say that this angle is equal to this angle by CPCT. So that also proves when this angle is equal to this angle, interior angles are equal, students. Interior angles are equal only in one case. Hello, students. Interior angles, when the interior angles are equal, only when these two lines are parallel, like
Parallel.
line L
Parallel.
and line M. Suppose P is the transversal which is intersecting line L and M. So this angle will be equal to this angle only when L is parallel to M. If L is not parallel to M, you see that this angle is small, this angle is bigger, they are not equal, right? So now we can prove, we can say that other way, that angle, let's say this angle is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. So angle 1 is equal to angle 2, right? Interior angles. And angle, sorry, not interior angles, you will say, because they are CPCT. From CPCT you will say, from CPCT. So if these two angles are interior angles, actually if they are equal, then that means AB is parallel to CD. All right, that is proven that A, B, C, D is a parallelogram. All right, students, we have done the third. Yes, students, let's discuss the other properties also. So now I think once we have done this proof, students, you can do remaining proofs yourself. So that can be taken as given as your homework also, because it's simple. So what is that? Let me just tell you. We have done these properties and now we will do other properties also. So fourth properties, in a parallelogram, opposite angles are equal, right? You can easily do it. Then fifth property, if in a quadrilateral each pair of opposite angle is equal, Initially we studied if in a quadrilateral, if each pair of opposite sides is equal, then it's a parallelogram. We can prove like this also. If in a quadrilateral, each pair of opposite angles are equal. Opposite angles are equal. So what are the opposite angles, students? I'll just draw it for you. 1 minute. So opposite angles are equal, then it says it's a parallelogram, right? We can draw like this. Students, if this is a parallelogram, okay, it's a little bigger in size, we can just do smaller in size. This is a parallelogram. So what are the opposite angles? I'll just tell you. So these are the opposite angles. Now it's given these angles are equal. Let's say angle 1 is equal to angle 2, angle 3 is equal to angle 4. Now it says these are equal, each pair of opposite angles, then it's a parallelogram. So you need to prove that A, B, C, D is a parallelogram. So any student can tell me how you can prove? Again, students, you can prove, you can draw a diagonal, right? You can draw a diagonal and prove two triangles are congruent, and then you can prove this is a parallelogram. Then the diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. What's the meaning of this, students? Bisect each other means, you see, students, if I'm drawing what? If I'm drawing a diagonal here. Sorry, if I'm drawing a diagonal here, just 1 minute. I'll draw simply. This is one diagonal AC and the other diagonal is BD. It says it will intersect. Intersect means, let's say they are intersecting at O. So AO is equal to OC. DO is equal to OB. This can also be proved, students, by congruency of triangles. Then if the diagonals of a quadrilateral bisect each other, what? The diagonals of a quadrilateral bisect each other. So it's actually the opposite of this. If the diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other, and then it's saying the opposite of this. If diagonals of quadrilateral bisect each other, it is a parallelogram. So it's now here it's given that diagonals bisect means AO is equal to OC and DO is equal to OB. This is given now. So from this you can prove it's a parallelogram. Thank you very much, students. This is all about the properties of parallelogram. Okay. Hope you like this video. If you liked it, may I request you humbly to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Learn CBSE, and do consider pressing the bell icon to receive all the interesting videos. Share with your friends. Thank you very much.